Life's greatest stories are not written in moments of safety or predictability. They are born from the fires of risk. Every remarkable journey, every powerful transformation, begins with a decision to step outside the boundaries of comfort and face the unknown. Risk is the foundation of every story that inspires, moves, and changes lives. When you look at the most memorable figures in history, or even the quiet heroes of everyday life, one thing connects them all. They dared to do something others were too afraid to attempt. They took a chance when the outcome was uncertain, and in doing so, they created stories that continue to echo through time. To live without risk is to live without growth. Taking risks challenges your limits, forces you to adapt, and opens paths that safety could never reveal. It's in those uncertain moments, when you don't know if you'll succeed or fail, that the real story unfolds. Every failure becomes a lesson, every setback a plot twist, and every triumph a chapter of victory. The world only remembers those who took that leap because risk gives your story depth, emotion, and meaning. Without it, your journey would be flat, predictable, and easily forgotten. When someone chooses risk, they are choosing to believe in possibility over fear. They are choosing the thrill of what if over the comfort of what is. This choice separates those who merely exist from those who truly live. Think about it. Every invention, every work of art, every act of courage in human history started with someone taking a risk. From explorers crossing uncharted lands to dreamers starting businesses with nothing but belief, they all shared one thing in common. They refused to let fear write their story. Risk is not recklessness, it's faith in action. It's trusting that even if you fall, you'll rise stronger, wiser, and bolder. The moments that scare you most are often the ones that shape you the deepest. You may lose comfort, you may face doubt, but in exchange, you gain experience, resilience, and a story that no one else could live but you. People remember those who dared because risk gives life color and purpose. It transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary and turns every moment of uncertainty into an opportunity for greatness. That's why life's greatest stories belong to those who are willing to take the risk and step beyond the edge of what they know. Comfort is the silent killer of potential. It whispers in your ear, convincing you that you're safe where you are, that you don't need to push, try, or change. But the truth is, comfort never builds legacies, it only builds walls around your growth. Every legend you've ever heard of, every person who made history, stepped away from comfort and into courage. They walked through uncertainty, pain, and doubt because they knew that comfort may offer peace, but courage offers purpose. Comfort keeps you where it's easy, but courage takes you where it's meaningful. Legends aren't made by those who play it safe. They are forged in the fires of discomfort when fear is loud but determination is louder. Courage means facing what scares you, not because you're fearless, but because what you're chasing is worth the risk. It's choosing to grow even when you could settle, to fight even when it hurts, to believe even when everything seems uncertain. Every great story begins with a moment when someone decided to be uncomfortable for the sake of something greater. Courage is the currency of growth. The more you invest in it, the richer your life becomes. It pushes you to act, to dream, to create, to fail, and to rise again. Comfort asks for nothing and gives you nothing in return. But courage demands everything and rewards you with transformation. When you choose courage, you open the door to experiences, lessons, and victories that safety could never offer. It's not about the absence of fear. It's about standing tall in its presence. If you look at your life and see that everything feels easy, predictable, and smooth, it might be a sign that you've stopped growing. Because every time you step into courage, life expands. New paths open, new strengths awaken, and new chapters begin. Comfort feels good for a moment, but courage feels right forever. Legends are not remembered because they stayed safe. They're remembered because they were brave enough to step into the storm and make history with their courage. Every dream you've ever had, every vision that keeps you awake at night, comes with a moment of uncertainty. That moment where you question if it's even possible, where doubt creeps in and fear whispers, "What if you fail?" But that moment is sacred because it separates dreamers from doers. Every great achievement begins in the darkness of uncertainty before it shines in the light of success. Without that tension, that risk, that leap of faith, no dream ever takes form. Dreams aren't handed to you, they're built on faith, persistence, and the courage to keep going when nothing is guaranteed. The path to your dream will never be clear. It's filled with confusion, rejection, and challenges that test your commitment. But uncertainty isn't a sign that you're on the wrong path. It's proof that you're on a path worth walking. Every dreamer must stand at that edge, staring into the unknown, and still say, "I'll try." That decision alone gives birth to transformation. Uncertainty is where magic happens. It's the space between where you are and where you're meant to be. When you embrace it, you begin to grow in ways you never thought possible. It teaches patience, resilience, and faith. It strips away pride and builds strength. Every time you step into uncertainty, you discover parts of yourself that comfort would have kept hidden. Those moments of doubt become the defining points of your story. The truth is, no one remembers the dream that was easy. They remember the dream that almost broke the dreamer but didn't. That moment of uncertainty, when everything could fall apart, is the very thing that makes the victory meaningful. Every success story is written through struggle. So when you find yourself uncertain, don't run from it. Stand tall, breathe deep, and remind yourself that this is what every dream requires before it becomes real. Fear of failure is one of the most powerful prisons the mind can create. It convinces you to stay silent when you should speak, to wait when you should move, and to quit when you should push harder. But failure isn't the enemy, it's the teacher. The real enemy is the fear of it. Fear builds invisible walls that separate you from your story, your growth, and your greatness. Every person who ever achieved something remarkable had to break through that wall to reach their potential. Failure isn't the end, it's the beginning of wisdom. It shapes character, builds resilience, and teaches lessons that success never can. Yet most people let the fear of failing stop them before they even start. They spend their lives watching others live the stories they were too afraid to write. The truth is, your story will never be perfect. It will be messy, unpredictable, and full of mistakes. But that's what makes it real. That's what makes it powerful. Every failure brings you closer to understanding what works, who you are, and how strong you can be. When you stop fearing failure, you start growing faster. You start seeing setbacks as setups, losses as lessons, and pain as progress. The fear of failure only exists to test how badly you want something. Once you walk through it, you realize that failure doesn't destroy you. It refines you. You don't need to eliminate fear to move forward. You just need to stop letting it control you. When you act despite fear, you reclaim your story. You give yourself permission to live fully, to try boldly, and to fail gloriously. Because failure is not a sign of weakness. It's evidence that you had the courage to try. The wall between you and your story is only as strong as your fear, and the moment you decide to face it, that wall crumbles and your story begins to unfold. Risk has always been misunderstood. Most people run from it, fearing loss or failure, but the truth is, risk is not the enemy. It's an invitation. It's life's way of saying, here's your chance to feel alive. Every meaningful experience, every achievement that gives life depth and excitement, comes from taking a risk. When you embrace risk, you don't just survive. You start to live with intensity, with purpose, with emotion. Risk pushes you to make choices that matter. It forces you to trust yourself, to believe when there's no guarantee, and to act when everything feels uncertain. It's the bridge between your current life and the life you dream of living. Without risk, everything stays the same. The scenery never changes, the story never grows, and your spirit never awakens. Taking risks doesn't mean you'll always win, but it guarantees that you'll always evolve. The beauty of risk lies in what it gives you, not just in what it takes. It offers lessons, clarity, and confidence. It reveals your true strength and shows you that you're capable of far more than you imagine. Every risk you take, whether it succeeds or fails, adds another chapter to your story, one filled with courage, emotion, and authenticity. People who live fully are those who embrace risk as a part of life, not something to avoid. When you start to see risk as opportunity instead of danger, life opens up in ways you never expected. You stop hesitating and start creating. You stop worrying about what if and start focusing on why not. Because every risk, no matter how small, is a step toward the version of you that you're meant to become. It's not about gambling your life, it's about claiming it. Risk isn't the enemy, it's the spark that ignites your story and the force that makes your life truly worth living.